Welcome to ScreenJabber.
You've worked on some pretty amazing films over the years. I mean, just for listeners, you've worked on Back to the Future 2. So did you create the trainers?
Unfortunately not. I wish I had. No, it was Nike. They produced that in their University of whatever it's called over there somewhere.
AKA Asian Twitch.
I was there when he used it. So I went out to see a bit of film and it was pretty amazing. I know it was only a little button thing and they went on their own. But it was fantastic going to see all the gear we made on set. It was fantastic.
And you've also worked on, I mean, you've worked with Spielberg, you've worked on Saving Private Ryan. So what did you do on Saving Private Ryan?
We made, it sounds really boring really, we made 500 uniforms.
Wow.
US, American uniforms, because obviously you can't get hold of, real American uniforms. So we made certain ones. I think we found a store of all the original helmets. So we actually found original helmets and original puttees, and I think everything else was basically made. So we made 500 jackets, 500 shirts, 500 trousers, and so on and so on.
And when you do that sort of thing, I mean, how much interaction do you have with somebody like Mr. Spielberg? Do you get to...
Nothing at all. No. It all comes from the designer, who was Joanna Johnston on that particular film. She has early meetings with Mr. Spielberg. All the decisions are made, and then she comes to people like us who are costumiers to produce the look and the goods.
And I'm being told right now that you actually worked with Spielberg on another of his films, Munich.
Munich, yeah.
And what did you do on that film? Can you tell us?
Yeah, no, lots of stuff. I mean, we made, lots of different things for Eric Banner, who was the main man in it. I believe Eric Banner's yet another Aussie.
Yeah.
Yes, Melbourne boy.
Yeah. So,
I can safely get away with calling him a wog because he's a wog and proud of it.
So we made loads and loads of different things, including all the sportswear for the ceremony at the beginning. Obviously, the game you can't kind of get names.
What was about the game?
60s? 68, 70?
I think it was 72 Olympics, Munich.
Okay. So we made lots of films. You look at clothes and you don't realise that they're a costume that's made. Unless it's modern day, anything period, and anything that has anything destroyed or sweated in or have loads of doubles. So they. So we make loads. We make the one to fit the ad, and then we make lots of doubles. So
do you have to make
deterioration on them.
And do you have to make for actors and their stunt doubles
as well? Yeah.
Yeah. So you could end up making about 7 or 8 different outfits.
Yeah. I mean, some depends if they get shot in action. They have like 20 or 30. Braveheart was another big one. We made loads and loads of doubles for Mel Gibson, because obviously he gets pretty roughed up in that film.
You also worked on Gladiator, didn't you? You created the costume.
No, Gladiator I didn't do. No. Unfortunately,
but you did do Robin Hood.
Did do Robin Hood.
Can you please tell me which part of Nottingham he was from? Because I'm from Lincoln and I know Nottingham.
Yeah, he was the part you've never been to.
Oh, right, that's fine.
It's very mysterious. Yeah.
And you're actually working with Russell Crowe right, at the moment, not right now, but at the moment, on Les Miserables. And this week the first picture of Russell's costume actually got released onto the internet. And
Absolutely.
Very Napoleonic.
Yeah.
Is that
very much so?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how much input does he have on that with you and the costume designer? Or
the costume designer is Paco Del Bardo, a Spanish designer. It's a bit of an all-in, but Mr. Crowe has the final say, without a doubt. So, basically, when we do things like that, we fit toiles and look at different coats and things on him. And Russell would kind of choose the look that he wants.
And have you done his costume for the whole film?
Yeah.
So how many costumes?
Well, on this particular film, he has 3 looks. You go from the early, the middle, and the late stages of the film. So we're in the process at the moment of doing the 3rd look. We've done the 1st and 2nd look, and it's all fairly similar. But obviously, it just transpires from, I think it's 1894 to 1834. And it's suicide.
And your range is pretty big because you're talking about films set in the 19th century, and then you've been working on Prometheus, which is set. I have no idea. Anyone?
100 years in the future, something.
So many years. Yeah. I mean that do you have to juggle films at the same time?
Yep.
How do you?
Absolutely. Sometimes we can work on to something like 14 different projects at the same time.
Wow.
I think is our skill. We can go from modern day, futuristic, period films, wedding outfits, suits. But yeah, we can. That's my skill, obviously. Doing my job for a long time.
So you work with some of Hollywood's biggest names and the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, yeah.
What did you do with the Spice Girls apart from, the second round?
Actually, the Spice Girls were really interesting for us because that was our first kind of big music thing. We didn't do the film, we didn't do the famous English flag dress for Jerry. But after the film, we done their first tour. That's when they really got big. And then for 4 years, we made everything they ever wore. Basically. So whenever you saw them, we made their stuff. And they never wore it twice.
You did well to avoid the film.
That's it, yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Weirdly enough, the first time I started fitting them, there was a little bloke over in the corner. Now Posh said, come and meet David. So, that's the first time I met David Beckham, who was, really modest and very quiet in the corner, just letting us get on with our work.
I suppose the nice thing with Spice Girls is there wasn't a lot of material needed. It was so tiny.
You'll be surprised, actually. No, there was a huge amount of outfits made for their first ever tour.
Where do you get the inspiration from? If you're making these things with them, how do you sort of have to sit down and talk to them, or as much as you can with Spice Girls?
It's a bit of that, yeah, but mainly it all comes in the fitting. You find interesting fabrics, but Back to the Future 2 was much better because we really experimented there. I'm actually pretty sure I'm the first person to do it. I mean, I pleated rubber, which I don't think anyone had done that before that. And we metallised everything, from leather caps to knives and forks, just everything. It was a brilliant experimental film.
How do you get your head around that? You're told by the costume designer or director, this is what we're doing this film, it's set then, it's 20 years in the future.
Yeah, we've gone past it.
Yeah. But where do you start?
Well, actually, what was fantastic on that film, Joanna Johnson's the costume designer, I was obviously the costumier, and we had a guy called Simon. I can't actually remember his second name, he was just a young kid, and he was a speed drawer. It was absolutely amazing. As we were bantering ideas, he'd be drawing it for us, so we could go, no, that doesn't really work. So I think the best costume in it for us, but no one would have seen it, it was just an extra, was Chinese lantern trousers. And it was one of the most difficult things ever to make. I know when we saw them, everyone would think, it was quite easy, but I had about 6 different makers and cutters trying to work it out. It was fantastic pair of trousers. So they all collapsed up as we sat down. It's a very difficult feat of art to do on something you wear.
So good for summer and winter.
Absolutely, yeah. Shorts and long trousers in one go.
Have you spent a lot of time on film sets?
No, I hardly spend any time at all. It's all in the studio making, experimenting, trying to get new things if it's futuristic or...
So the actors come to you for fittings?
The actors come to us or I go off to fit them. Russell, I think, on Robin Hood, I was all over the country fitting him.
Much like his accent.
For hours, yeah. No, it really was. I think I worked on it for about 8 months. And there was fittings, 20, 30 fittings.
And has Russell requested that you work with him now on Les Mis, that you're working with him again?
If only. No, he didn't actually. I chased the film up because I'd worked with him before.
Yes.
But actually, it seemed to be like a nice mutual consent when we met again. So.
And are you working on anything else at the moment that we might be talking about quite soon?
Yeah, well, we're doing a kind of tour of someone quite famous, but we're supposedly not meant to mention her. So that's really, it's a singer, and I'm sure you'll see some of the outfits soon. So that's a really good thing. Are we talking Kylie?
No, there's another very
No.
big star about to tour in the UK. Very, like, the biggest female star in the world.
Yeah.
Is it Sonia? I think so.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
I was trying to think.
No, she does a bit of acting, and she might, if it's who I think it is, she's tried direction recently as well.
Oh, Madonna. No.
Oh, all right, well, I'm completely on the wrong track there.
I am just about to work on a great museum, which is a great love of mine anyways, is a new Bond exhibition. It's 50 years of Bond.
Yes.
Oh, at the Barbican.
Going at the Barbican,
Yeah, really looking forward
So
to
I'm in
that.
charge of, it's actually amazing. And I've had Halle Berry's bikini in my hands, and stuff like that. It's just brilliant. Went to the stores to grab out all the stuff, even Sean Connery's stuff still there. It's brilliant.
Is his pale blue jumpsuit from Goldfinger, is that on
I
display?
tell you, we all wished it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, we'd love to have things like that. It's just great.
Do you know when that's open?
It's the end of June?
Yeah,
July?
June, July, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be fab. I'm organising all the mannequins, and with Lindy Hemmings is creating it. We're doing all the mannequins and all the clothes. And,
That's fantastic.
yeah, it's brilliant. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
I was just wondering with Les Mis, how much influence you've taken from the stage show, whether you've seen it, whether you've been in
I've not
contact
seen
with
it.
them.
I've made stuff for the stage show, but I've never seen it. But no, this is definitely Russell's.
So you're trying to be quite independent.
Yeah,
from
I
that.
mean, it's, you know, we've looked up the history, and Russell does shitloads of history, you know, when he's working on something, and he's actually a great actor to work with because he knows exactly what he wants. There's no fussing. He'll put it on. He likes it. That's it. End of story. Yeah.
Right.
There's no kind of artisan. You've actually been thinking about that and might change this. You know, can't wish for any better for me as a costumer. You put something on, the actor loves it. That's it. You know, bang out the rest of the copies for him. So that's good. But definitely, it's obviously him and Paco who design it. We do whatever they want, basically.
So who's your favourite actor you've worked with over the years? Or who's the
It's a little
easiest to
glint
work
in his
with?
eye right now.
No, actually, that's a really hard one. Someone asked me that before, and it's a bit unfair to say one in particular because you know I like lots of different actors for lots of different reasons. You know, so
Well, who's the easiest to work with?
yeah, I didn't like to say that either.
Who's the hardest to work with? You can say that.
Russell, because he's commanding. You know. But actually, I really enjoyed working with him. But he's you know, he's not easy. You know, because he knows so much what he wants when he sees it. But you know, I don't mind that. So
And do you watch films? I mean,
I love films.
So whose work do you admire when you watch a film and you think, God, I wish I'd had
Roman
such work?
Polanski is absolutely my favourite of all time.
And his costumes?
Whose costumes?
His costumes? Do you like? Yeah, I mean, is that what?
I
when you
love
watch a
everything
film-
about Roman Polanski. No, I don't really watch film and think about the costumes. I like what's in it. Him and then Peter Greenaway, I suppose.
You were telling us that you work with really well.
On the Thief that Took the Wife and the Lover. Yeah, which was a brilliant film. Another amazing film. I made Helen Mirren's a couple of things for her and this fantastic kind of feather negligee she wears in it. Just brilliant. It was a real dream working on that film. Working with Gaultier, you know. That was the first kind of time I ventured into high fashion, you know, and having someone like Gaultier coming into your studio was pretty amazing. You know. Coming in with his entourage, he literally had about 20 people working with him, all coming in, taking notes, doing this, and it's like, whoa, it's a hero. And then I think a week later I met him in a nightclub. Going, hello, what are you doing here? Just dancing and drinking like anything. Cool guy, he was absolutely superb. So, good.
Anyone else got anything else they want to know from Adrian?
So what would be your sort of dream gig? In possibly, you talked about working on science fiction films, period films, Bond. I mean, Bond seems to come up a lot. I heard Oswald Boateng saying he'd love to press Bond. I mean, do you prefer working in the period where it's a bit more restrictive, or looking at sort of futuristic or fantasy costumes where you can just let your imagination go?
To be honest, because of budgets nowadays, I don't think there's going to be another film like Back to the Future 2, which, you know, really did just invent things. It was absolutely fantastic, you know, with what we were doing. And there was a little bit of spare money to try things out, see if it worked. If it didn't work, right, trash that, and then let's go on to something else and try that. So I think futuristic is more fun, but I prefer period. This is where we're at. I mean, 18th century is just a great thing to work on, and everyone looks fantastic in it. I mean, the music is lovely. It's really lovely to do. Real proper period costume. I mean, that's what we are. We're costumers, so that's obviously our real love, making costumes. But futuristic is fun. You can experiment. But I don't think the budgets are there anymore. Maybe it'll come back, but certainly not. There's lots of films around, but then the budgets aren't what they used to be by any means at all. I think we charge the same now as we did 20 years ago, pretty much. So Back to the Future was a good budget, really good budget. But I charge costumes on that more or less the same as what I'm doing now. It really is, and that's 22 years ago, something like that. Incredible. That was a one-off, like Spielberg. Big time.
Okay, I think we've exhausted Adrian enough now.
Thank
you very much for coming to talk to us. We're really pleased, and maybe we can talk to you again once the film comes out, Les Mis comes out, or Prometheus comes out, when we've seen your work.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Obviously, we've seen your work. We've just not realised it's your work.
No, absolutely.
So that'd be fantastic. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you very much for inviting me along.
Okay, for downloading this podcast from ScreenJabber. For all the latest news, reviews and interviews, competitions, blogs and trailers, don't forget to visit ScreenJabber.com, join our Facebook group or follow @ScreenJabber on Twitter.